To be present, we must be intentional, and to bear fruit, we must feed the soul. You're listening to Pause, Sip, and Ponder.
Two, one. Hello, Ponders. Welcome back to another episode of Pause, Sip, and Ponder. I'm so excited. I have my friends here, Kelsey, Mary, and Miko. And this is our first time back in studio, my home, my living room, technically, in like a month. So we've been super busy, though, behind the scenes, meeting you guys in person. It's been so nice. We've grown in person, and we're so grateful to have connected with you all. If this is your first time here, Pause, Sip, and Ponder is a podcast where we talk about everything and anything in the aim to give you some encouragement, some inspiration to learn from one another, to grow together. And yeah, we've had some pretty serious and intentional topics, these past ones. And today will still be intentional, but I think we also wanted the opportunity to just rant a little bit. Most of our life consists of our jobs, probably 95% of our life, and our daily our day-to-day is our careers, our jobs, and of course we have bills to pay, and goals to meet. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, talk about our experiences with customer service, talk about our first jobs, our current jobs, our journey through the different jobs that we have experienced. And yeah, even though we're just coming back from work, you can never get away from just talking about work, unfortunately. But I think as I was thinking about this topic in general, although it takes most of our time, we do have the choice to make the best out of it and to really enjoy just, the in-between moments of it, the small, simple interactions that we may have with other people. And yeah, so I'm really excited to hear your guys, my friends' experiences, because I don't think I've ever worked with you guys. So would love to see what happens at your jobs, all of your experiences with the people that you interact with, how it's changed you. And please leave comments below of your experiences as well. So first, welcome Kelsey and Miko.
Hello.
I think both of you guys have been on the podcast, but this is your first time, actually. I think you were here for a game night, so didn't really have much talk. And then Miko, we talked a lot, and we did coffee, but this is first time kind of in this type of setting. So yeah, so glad to be here. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for taking your time late in the night to be with us, but we're excited to do this. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do it.
First question. Let's just get right into it. First job, and then your current job. We'll start with Kelsey. We're not saying names, by the way.
Yeah.
Well,
in Rockville.
I mean, who are we?
Yeah, in Rockville.
Who are we gonna get sued? I don't know.
Right now I work at a cake shop in Gaithersburg.
Nice. And what is your job? What is your role?
I would say I'm a cashier / barista.
Cool. And what's your day-to-day like? What do you do? What do you do at your job every day?
So every day I would go in, prep the cake for display, turn on the coffee machines, dialing in, and yeah, just welcoming customer coming in and out every day.
Nice. Awesome. What about you, Mary?
I feel like I'm doing the same thing as I did as my first and last job. But I used to work at a hot pot / Korean barbecue place for a few years as a hostess. And then now I'm a server at a golf range.
Oh,
Yeah.
very cool. How long have you been working at
Which one?
your current job?
Oh, now it's 2.5-ish years.
Nice. Okay,
So
cool.
some change.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
My very first job was I worked at Panera. Oh, I could say that. Panera. And it was so funny because our last Reflect with Us session was actually at the Panera I first worked at. So it was a full circle moment for me. I think I only recognized one person who stayed there. I was like, wow, you're still here. But yeah, it was just crazy. I definitely did not hate the job. Actually, I always said, like, if nothing else works in my life, I wouldn't mind working there. So yeah, I did that. And then my current job, I am a preschool teacher teaching 2-year-olds. So yeah.
Let's see, my first customer service job, because I had one before that, but I don't have to get into that.
We will.
Oh, I mean, okay. I'll just say that now then. My very first job was as a sign spinner, so I would go out to they would send me out to different places advertising for apartments.
Oh, really?
Like other like stores and stuff, and I did that for like 2 years. But then my first actual customer service job was at a Japanese crepe cafe, and I just started as a crepe chef and then learned how to be a barista at that job. And then now I am working at another cafe up in Frederick, and I've been there for 7 months now, and I'm still working as a barista, but I've also had several other roles outside of that from other jobs.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. It's so interesting. Like, I feel like one of the first questions we ask any new person or just a person in general is like, oh, where do you work? Right. And sometimes it can really like be a good, what's the word? You kind of not indicate, but like kind of tell what type of personality this person has through their job. Not always the case for everybody, but yeah, it seems like we like enjoying people's, like, helping people and serving other people. So yeah, I just want to go right into it. Worst customer service or client or whatever other person experience within your job. Who wants to go first?
I have one already, so I can go first.
And we're not naming names, so
Let's just
not-
tell her.
yeah.
Let's call her just Sally.
okay, Sally.
Okay. So it was like a pretty busy Saturday like afternoon, and Sally walked in with her 2 sons, very like probably around 4 or 5 years old, and first she got in line, ordered, and then it was because like it was super busy, so I want to make sure everything's right. So I asked her, "Hey, can you double check everything? Like, you know how the screen is like on both sides where you can like see the items? Can you please double check everything on the screen if it's correct?" She said, yeah, everything is correct. I brought everything out. She said, "Oh, I didn't order this. I actually ordered the other one. Oh, I didn't order this one. I actually ordered the other one." And then like I was like, okay, like you checked everything. I told you to check like 2-3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I still exchange like whatever she ordered for her. Moving on, the line was still there. She had to take one of her son to the bathroom, and she just like look at me and be like, "Can you watch my son for me while I take my other son to the bathroom?"
Can you babysit my kid?
I was like shocked. I was like in my head, I was like, "Lady, can you see the line right here?"
Yeah.
I didn't respond because like there was like customer. I was talking to a customer where she cut in, like during the middle of the like our
Transaction.
like, yeah. So moving on. Obviously, I still kept an eye on the kid, but and then
You had one eye at the kid and one eye
and then her kid is like so noisy. Like they run around.
in a cafe.
Yeah, in the cafe. Like it's like a very small space.
Yeah.
So if you make like a little noise, it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they have their little paws on like the glasses, like the display glass.
Oh,
His fingerprints.
There's like prints everywhere.
Oh,
and,
man.
and they were running into the kitchen, which is like there's like a sign that says employee only.
Mm.
And she was moving from one table to another table to another table, leaving trash everywhere she goes, and like she didn't even try to clean it up. And then she moved back to that original table. I have to like obviously I have to clean it up because I want to create like a clean space.
Oh no,
for
man.
everyone.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Please pick it up.
Yeah, and then later, like another group of friends joined her, and she asked me, "Oh, hey, could you have like paper and crayons for the kids to draw on?"
Want to be IHOP?
Yeah.
This is like a very small bakery. Like
Mhm.
we don't carry much. And like before, it was just before we opened the dining, we have like carry out for only for like almost 2 years.
Mm.
So I was like, "Ugh." And they were like sitting there and talking and yelling for like 2 hours. At the end of the day, like no tip.
Oh.
No way.
That's the worst. I hate when you have to like do all this extra stuff for customers and they know it too. Like they obviously know that you're doing more, but they give you no extra credit for doing all of it.
Like not like I don't expect much because I made hourly, but not even a single thank you. They
Right.
just like stand up and walk out.
Yeah.
Before we get into the next worst experience story, first let's talk about like what's kind of expected out of our role. Like, you know, what do you expect? How you expect to step in? You know, we have kind of like certain etiquettes and like expectations of us if you're in customer service or just working as an employee in general. So, do you guys, at least in your respective places, what is that? How do you carry yourself in the workplace, and how are you expected to carry yourself?
I'm always trying to do not only what is required, like minimally required for me as a barista or like, you know, someone serving customers. I always try to go like the extra step to like make that person's day or like just do something a little bit more to make that transaction special, even if it's like a regular or a new customer or whoever. I'm always trying to like just take the extra step and make their day. Let them have a good time.
Right.
So like as a barista, not only am I giving them coffee that, you know, is giving them energy, but I'm providing some sort of service that's like, I don't know. My mind went blank.
Providing a service, like what is your goal with the customer?
Yeah, I just want them leaving like I gave them the attention that they needed, and I'm not just there for their business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, I should have started with that question first, but you know, it's real life where we have instances where we have bad days, we have instances where we may not have a good interaction with a customer or a client. But I mean, when you start that job, when you apply for a job, you really want to give your best, and you tell the person that's hiring you, like, you do want to try your best and show up, and that's what you try to do. You want to keep your job, obviously, but I think when choosing jobs, we definitely have to be intentional. Like, how do you? It's definitely the aim should be long term, right?
Yeah.
And it's very case to case, and where we end up. But yeah, I think it can sometimes feel repetitive, but I found that when you find the beauty in just the little things, and you know, you don't have to have the goal of making someone stay, but just doing that, you know, and setting intentions for that definitely makes your day better and more fulfilling.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, my worst experience when I worked in customer service, just one of the stories, I was at Panera, and this lady had ordered, and the first thing she says when coming up to me, I was like, "Hi, how are you? Welcome," you know, and then she's like, "Oh, first of all, I just want to say I hate this place." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And
Why are
my
you here?
manager was right behind me. This is one of my first jobs, so you know, I'm for the most part, I feel like I'm a very patient person. And one of the first things like in my head was like, what happened to you? Like, who hurt you? And so she ordered, and then she complained about how expensive they were. I'm like, and they're complaining about things that literally you have no control of, you know. And then she ordered it, and then she came back. She said, "I want a refund for this milkshake or smoothie," and it was already mostly finished. And she said her mom had it. And she's only here because of her mom. Like, she hates this place, like she said again. And I was like, ma'am, but the customer's always right? So my manager came and kind of rescued me before I was able to speak up for myself. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with that lady. It seemed like she was something was going on. But yeah, that's probably the worst customer experience I had, because I did nothing to this lady, and she tried it was like her goal to like make my day bad, which was really really sucked. But yeah. Thank goodness my manager like just literally stepped right in front of me and then kind of handled it. So yeah, but I'm like the type of person that I don't ask for help. Like, I didn't ask him to help me. And so, yeah, I'm just glad he did.
Yeah. That's wild.
What about you, Miko?
Are we talking about just like my experience with customers, or
yeah, or it could be like a
specific? Because I feel like, okay, so my worst experience as an employee working customer service was at one of my previous jobs. I just had really bad bosses, like the owners of this company. I was working at this place as a manager, and the owners there just, it started off okay, but as I started to realize different, I guess, flaws in their work ethic or just like their management style and whatnot, and like they hired me as their manager, so I wanted to give them my input to help improve the business so that it would work well for them, for our employees and whatnot. But they just didn't want to give me like any sort of attention or the respect that I deserved as a manager that they hired, and that they agreed that I would be responsible for these things. They basically just brushed it all off and just be like, no, like, we know what we're doing. Like, you just basically told me to like stay in my lane, which made no sense because I was trying to like manage the cafe, but they wouldn't let me do that. And as I worked at this place for several months, and it just kept getting worse and worse, from like scheduling conflicts to like equipment breaking down, even though I warned them about it, and like running out of orders of things that they were responsible for, and then put the blame on me instead. It's just a bunch of BS. And I just hate that, like, as at this point I had been an experienced barista and like working in coffee for several years, and they also knew that through the way that I worked. But I just hated that, like, they treated me like I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that happens to people. Like, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's had that experience too. It's happened to other people as well, but it just sucks that it's like a thing in this industry.
And it's with a lot of cafes. Literally, I feel like there's no more cafes to really apply for, at least in our area, because they've tried it all. And these are all ambitious, passionate baristas. But when it's in the hands of an owner who's barely there or doesn't know anything about coffee and only about handling a business, it'll never work. Like, it's just not sustainable at all. And so it's okay, guys. One day, all my friends will have cafes. That's a big goal of ours. But yeah, and I think there's two types of workers, right? The people who are actually really passionate about it, and they could care less. I mean, of course, money is important, right? We got to pay bills, but for someone to stay that long, it seems like, they're really passionate. And there's people who are really just doing it for money, right? And so, yeah. Mary, do you have any bad experiences?
I'm trying to think. Not really the customers, more of like what Miko was saying, management. Because every time like it was a problem that I would have to think about, it's more of like how the manager was like taking care of it when there were times that it should have been like dealt differently. Because I had to think about like the customers. They don't really know what's going on, so it's more about like us, because we know how things are supposed to be. So when a manager doesn't do their job like properly, it's just like, it makes me want to be like, I don't want to work for this person anymore. It's not even worth it. But or like sometimes their morals are a little bit different, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm working for these people. Like, what the heck? I mean, but now like within my new job, when we notice like when managers aren't doing their job correctly, they either get fired or they leave. So it's like, okay. Luckily, like my job now, they kind of deal with like managers who don't carry themselves correctly or think about themselves a little bit too much. So it's not as bad because there's like more than one manager compared to like only having like two at a restaurant. So it's like, it's not as bad.
Right.
So, I mean, most of the customers most of the guests that I deal with, they're pretty nice. Especially at the place that I am right now, like, literally, we have, like, special, like, members that come to our driving range, whatever. He, like, bought a Coke, right? And I was like, he had to, like, leave. So I didn't really want to make it a big deal because I couldn't find his check. So I told my manager, like, oh, I can't find his check, whatever. So my manager was like, oh, it's okay. Just, like, I'll take care of it. I was like, okay, fine, that's fine. I tell the member, like the special member, he's like, oh my God, no, I usually just tip on like the card, even though it's a soda. I'm like, I was explaining to him like, no, it's okay. Like it's a soda. And then like, there's a reputation about these special members that they don't tip. They just come to play. But when I serve them, it's like, if I'm them, I don't really want to like, I wouldn't tip because I wasn't there to like play a part of my membership. So I explained to him like, oh, it's okay. Like, don't worry about it. Like, it's just a soda. Like, I don't want to press you on getting a tip. So he says, oh, okay. Like, that's fine. Like, I got you next time. Like, I'll like take care of you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm in the bev station. He comes out of nowhere. He points at me. And then he gives me $5. I'm like, oh my God, you don't have to, but thank you so much. Just It was like, I was taking care of a party already, so I kind of forgot he left. So I'm so surprised that like, there's customers like that, especially like at the job I work at. They're super duper generous. And I'm like,
that's good.
No, like, I don't like forcing guests to like tip, even though that's like part of the job. I don't like forcing that because it doesn't really look that great,
especially if it's someone that you see often.
Especially like our regulars is like, they have like, they're paying way more to have a better experience at our job. So like, I mean, if they tip you like, right, depending on your service. So what's the point of like pushing them to like give you a certain percentage? So
so Mary, what's your goal when coming into work? Of course, this is our everyday, but I feel like we all have personal goals or should set personal goals when we're working. And so what is that for you?
I think the job I'm at right now, it's my first serving job like ever. So it's like, it's easier, whatever. I mean, usually I know when I come into work, definitely on the weekdays, then the weekends, it's going to be slow. So I'm like, okay, I might as well like, because I'm also like a shift lead, whatever. So I'm just thinking like, okay, I might as well like put my best service and like make sure they're okay, checking up on them. And then, I mean, whatever I make is whatever I make. So since I don't work nights anymore, I don't mind the like the low tips. But sometimes like if there's like some like parties I have to like deal with, like then I'll have like extra tip because it's part of the party. So it's like,
sure,
okay. I just usually like to like I like to take care of them to make sure they're having a good experience and things like that. So it's not like I'm there just to,
for
like,
the tip, just for the money.
It's I guess it's a core value at our like driving range to like make sure that the guest is more like comfortable than having to take their order and then just like forget about them for like 20 minutes. So I don't know. I guess I have more fun serving.
Absolutely. That's what I was gonna ask. Like sometimes like okay, just say like, you know, we have bad days at work, right? Or we have bad days in our personal life, and that can really kind of if we allow it, set up the day, like set our mood for the rest of the day. But it seems like, and if you guys can agree or disagree, when we make the active decision or intention to make the best out of the day as we can at work, even if we had a bad day at home or with with another person, is from doing that, but they have no idea what you're going through personally. So it definitely helps, That's why I wanted to start off the podcast with just like the bad experiences, because overall, most of my friends pretty much I know them to be very optimistic people, seeing life half glass full, and putting that passion and putting that work and love into our careers and everything. So I want to pivot to, what is the best thing about your job? What do you enjoy about your job?
I can go first.
Sure.
I mean, I can go first. So like I've worked in coffee for 5+ years at this point, and for me, like before I started working in coffee, I didn't drink coffee at all. I didn't know anything about the coffee culture. I didn't know anything about brewing coffee. I didn't even really like coffee. But as I've like learned more about the craft of coffee, I also learned more about myself, and it really helped me grow as a person. And I guess like it helped me come out of my shell. I used to be like really nervous and shy and like not antisocial, but like it was just hard for me to meet people and like make friends. But after, I don't know, there's just something about being in coffee that helped me grow and connect more to other people in my community. And I've just created, I've found like the best like friendships and connections through like different cafes that I've worked at.
Yes.
Meeting people at the cafes and talking to them about their own interests and stuff. Like for some reason, I like playing this game where I'll try to learn like if someone's like in college, like what they're studying or like what someone's currently working in. And I just try to find a way to connect it to coffee.
That's so
like,
good.
Even
That's
if it's
so
by
fun.
like 2, 3, 4 degrees of connection or whatever.
Yes.
It's just a fun game that I like to play, and it helps me learn more about them in a way that like makes it more interesting to me as well.
Yeah.
So like someone
It makes
like,
your day more exciting, honestly.
yeah, like I met someone who's like an entomologist, someone who works with bugs, and I'm like, oh well, people think that like bugs have nothing to do with coffee farms, but some of them will have like there's like a sustainable like biodiversity, and like bugs play a huge part in the ecosystem, and like just random stuff like that. I love connecting.
Yeah, and you
with that.
learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I learned
that's
more
so
about.
cool.
I learned they learned something about coffee. I learned something about whatever they were interested in. It's just like I don't know. And there's a bunch of there's so many other things I could say about like working in coffee that have been good for me, but like I feel like that's the main thing is like learning how to connect more with others.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
I would say, surprisingly, the best part of my job is my bosses. Most of the reason I quit because of my old boss. But the owner right now, they're so nice. They regain my faith in Chinese owner.
Your face and Chinese owner, that's so funny.
But like they're super caring. So like today I have like a big test that I'm like super worried about. I didn't sleep much, and they knew about it. And the first thing I walked in, they asked, "Oh, how was your test? How are you feeling? Are you tired? You want to eat something first?" And later on that day, like I have a new hire coming in today, and I have to train her. And they were talking about not having her come in because they were afraid that it's like gonna be too much for me to handle. And but I told him like, hey, it's fine, I can do it. And coming toward like to the afternoon, they said, oh, do you want to leave early because I don't want you to like collapse. I said, I'm fine. But like those type of bosses, that it's like it's the drive for you to go on. Like it's like kindness for kindness. If they're like kind to me, I am willing to give them my 100%. And it's like I'm so happy working with them. I'm willing to work with them. They always ask me like about, oh hey, how can we improve about the coffee, because they have experience working in cafes before, but not a lot. So they always ask for my opinion, and they said if you want to like anything you want to add, just like let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And they and like my goal is to have like a bakery slash cafe, like what they have right now. So they offer like, oh, if you want to know anything, just ask us. If you want to learn about baking, because whenever you have the time, just go in and observe. It's
Mm-hmm.
like so nice. And they bought me dinner so many times.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so
it's
nice.
like so caring. And today I had like a conversation with one of my boss, and then I told her, like, you paid me to come here to work. I am gonna
Mm.
give you my 100%, because like you guys treat me so well, so nice. My family also have a business, but it's like not in service, but like I know what owners have to deal with like employees, so I try to be as helpful as
Yeah,
possible.
that's so good.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh my god, you're like one of the best employee ever."
Yeah, yeah, that's so it's so especially if you know you're an employee of someone. Um, of course there are those bosses that it's kind of hard to be able to have understanding or patience with, but at the end of the day, they are our authority, they are our leaders, and so we try our best to kind of like please them basically, and make sure that we let them know that you know we're responsible and that we're accountable and all that. So it's so nice to receive affirmation from them because we work so hard to keep everything afloat, you know, and some things don't get noticed all the time, but when they do notice, even just the little things that you do, it makes all the difference for us. Yeah. So you feel like as if, you know, you're not working in vain, but you're working for, you know, a good purpose and to be of service. So nice. Very nice. I think for me personally, I've been a preschool teacher for at least a year now. It's my very first full-time job. And there's so much things I enjoy about it. I love the kids. They can be a handful at times, but I love my age group because 2-year-olds are where they're the most, it's the most vital time of their years. Everything that we are today is because of our childhood. And even if they probably won't remember my name, you know, just by memory, they'll have those core memories and what they learned, you know, and I can always recount those teachers that made a big impact on me, and I hope to be able to do that too with them. And then you also, you know, while there are the kids, you also see the parents every day, the beginning and the end of the day. And sometimes you can even feel like the immense stress they have, or like, you know, or even sometimes I feel their guilt not being able to be with their kids all day. And so it's nice to be able to take off the load, like even in just the smallest gestures, to help them out as much as I can, to help them not feel worried about their kids, to let them know that their kids are safe and taken care of. So yeah, I think that's the best thing about my job, and also seeing them grow. Like these kids, they won't listen to, like they won't they won't receive something after one time. Like you have to repeat everything, like tell them all the time, every day, every minute, remind them of something and enforce it, and then sooner or later they catch on so quickly. Like they're sponges, and it's so amazing to see it in real time. But it requires a lot of patience, and it's not for everyone. You know, a lot of people are like, wow, you have a lot of patience. And I think, you know, teachers really do have a gift of patience. And so, yeah, that's, I think, the best thing to kind of see. And it helps me because in a life that can be so serious sometimes, and like, you know, so much of these things that is put on us as we get older, it's nice to like just, kids don't care. Like, kids are just there to have a good time. You know, they're the most outspoken, honest people. And I can act like a kid around them, you know, and not feel judged, and just be myself. And I feel like especially in my style and how I dress up, like I'm more expressive, you know, as to when I worked in a corporate job or like in an office, like I felt so restrictive. I felt like I couldn't be myself. So it's nice to be able to come in and just feel love too. I feel like it's a very healing job for me, every single day. So yeah, that's what I love about my job. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next question. We already said that. What is, I guess, do you guys see yourself, what is, I guess, your dream job? And if you see yourself in your current job for a while, but if there's an ultimate job, an ultimate dream job, what would that be now? Just say it.
My ultimate goal
Yes.
is to have like this ultimate coffee experience where all my friends know that I'm like super into coffee.
Yes.
So like my ideal, so I want to be a business owner for one, but like I want to curate like this coffee experience where people come to the facility and they're able to like take classes. Like I want to focus on coffee education where
So cool.
people who might not work in coffee, so like if you're a home brewer or like you're just interested in learning about coffee, you can come in, take these like accessible classes to learn about how to brew coffee, how to do latte art, how to like how to make espresso at home, stuff like that. But then also have like a more professional experience curated for baristas, business, other like cafe or bakery owners who want to like do barista training or equipment maintenance or learning how to like do cafe management and stuff like that. So all of that, like basically everything to learn about coffee that's accessible to anyone that needs it. And then I also want to have, that would also be attached to, of course, like a cafe and a roastery. The roastery would be taking care of like my cafe as well as like selling coffee to other cafes that might need it, or like selling it at grocery stores or farmers markets, just anywhere I can.
That's awesome.
And then in the cafe, I have this funny concept of making it kind of look like a modern art history museum.
Love that.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
But like I want to have like vintage coffee equipment, like espresso machines, like unique coffee brewers, and like a really nice like curated coffee menu. Nothing against Starbucks, but like I want to like I don't really need like all the fancy flavored mixed drinks and like frappuccinos and whatnot. That's totally fine for Starbucks, but what I want to do is have something that's like very intentional, very like streamlined, and like of course like feature like holiday drinks or just like really intentional crafted drinks, like some flavored drinks here and there, but nothing crazy like Starbucks. Nothing against them, they're perfectly fine and all, but I just wanted to be more intentional, just like special ingredients that I would want to use that like make sense for the season or the holiday. And then I also want to be able to feature like unique styles of brewing coffee. So like if I have like a vintage espresso machine or a unique or like an antique coffee brewer that like people don't normally see in cafes or really anywhere, it's like hard to find. I want to be able to allow customers to have a cup of that coffee, a cup of coffee from whatever like unique brewer there is, and let them experience it too, and like feature it for like a week, 2 weeks, a month, depending on how popular it is, and just swap out with whatever equipment we have. So I just want to make it like, I just want the whole cafe experience to be around seeing like how different, like how widespread coffee is, not only just in like how it can be made, but also like look into like a little bit of the history of it and the science of coffee and the artistry. Like I want them to see everything. It's not just like you walk in, you buy coffee, you leave. I mean, if they need to do that, like they can, like we'll have that set up, but like I'd want it to be focused more around like
Appreciating.
like appreciating like what coffee is, like where it's come from, where it is now, and where it could be going and stuff like that. And I'm sure I'm gonna have so many more ideas when it comes to like opening a coffee business, but I'm gonna start small for sure. But like that's the end goal. That's the dream.
Yeah. Well, you heard it right here, guys. And we'll see you in a few years when that happens. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. What about you guys?
I'm scared to talk about my dreams now that I don't want to go after Nico.
I'm so sorry. I should have
Okay,
gone
a lot of
last.
our friends are coffee people.
You want to go
anyway,
first?
so
No, you got the
it's not like we're gonna go against each other.
I set the bar too high.
I have the pressure's on.
The pressure.
Like I mentioned earlier, I want like a bakery / cafe. To me, I value a good conversation. So it's gonna be like a nice, not quiet, but like jazz music playing in the background, raining outside, where two people could have
Lo-fi
like
girl.
a cup of coffee. They can do work. They can talk, and I want to make my cafe as like a center for connections, where people can go there, exchange business idea. They can talk to the barista behind the counter if like whatever they're interested in, and create beautiful cakes for the community. Also, like I want to give back to my community, and I want it to be like a hangout spot for my friends also. I want to have like cactus around my cafe. Succulents.
This is definitely you already know.
It's like good cakes, good coffee, good conversation. That's what I'm like my goal.
Community space.
Yeah.
Wow, I like it.
Not Starbucks.
What would it be called?
I haven't come up with names yet. I haven't got into that phase.
Yeah. Nice.
My
Guys,
dreams-
it can happen, y'all.
My
It
dream
can.
sounds so normal after me.
What do you mean normal?
No, my dream sounds like super
vague.
extra and extravagant. That might be too much, and I'm trying to bite off more than I can chew. But
Well, that's why I wanted us together and talk about it because, sometimes we settle for less. Sometimes we're like, oh, why can't I do that? And so it's nice to be able to like, hear each other's dreams, keep each other accountable, and then, get inspired from one another because why not? For me personally, I feel like I like too many things. I think at the end of the day, I'm definitely someone who would most likely have a business. But I have a few things. But I think the big general thing is community space. So whether that be like have my own community hub as well. It seems like the ours is very, that's for you guys, my friends. But either a cafe or like a creative space. Whether it be an Airbnb, so like rather than just a room or a home, it would be especially created for artists and creatives. And yeah, I think that, and of course to be able to give back to my community. I would love to have a for-profit coffee shop in the future, but I also would love to have a nonprofit run coffee shop because that would be going towards the employees. That would be going to those who are, supporting it. Everything that I do, I feel like it's always to be of service to someone. So I just always want to be involved in helping to whoever needs help. And yeah, so I love, like, as you guys know, I feel like now that I talk about it, I feel like I started the path of cultivating that. Even if it's not a building, even if it's not, having everything like literally working, using like a bunch of wires right here. Like it literally took us so long to just set up. But I know, and I'm so grateful, at least I'm in that stage of cultivating that life, and it all starts from somewhere, so yeah. But again, I don't have like a one thing that I want because I'm so in the moment now. I feel like I used to have such like specific dreams of where I want to be, and those are really important, but I feel like I just at this moment I'm more intentional about what I'm doing, and then whatever happens but I would love to have a community space. That's definitely the biggest goal I have. So yeah. What about you, Mary?
Sorry, not kidding. I don't know. For me, I feel like I'm slowly kind of doing what I want to do, or like help manage like artists, or help with like making things like videography, or like dealing with their social media and things like that. So that's still something that I want to do, and maybe be like a creator, making videos and things like that. So that's still like
You're technically doing it
I'm
already.
technically doing that very slowly.
Yeah.
There's like, hopefully there's just specific like things or like companies that I would want to work with, especially like well-known like creators that I've met, and I'd like want to work with them one day. Just like not right now, but I'm like making my portfolio slowly. But they're like slowly like recognizing either they know me either word of mouth, or they like recognize my work and I didn't, or something like that. So it's like a slow progress. But that's like literally the only thing that I've been liking or doing. It's just like video editing and making content and like helping other people in like the ways that I can. So I think I'm on a good path.
Yeah. I think it's always I think it's always good to just remember, like, it just the steps are actually more important than the goal itself. Sometimes we can what can keep us from reaching our goals is just thinking too much about the destination rather than getting there. Like I told Kelsey this, like, it's not bad to want that mansion that you want in the future, but girl, there are things in between that to help you get there, and sometimes while you get the hang of it, and like while you start to love the rhythm, the progress, even running into setbacks, just enjoying that process and that season itself, you like tend to forget like even the destination because you're so invested in just having the good habits in your life that you cultivate and everything. And so that's really good, guys. So a question I had was, how do you see money now compared to before? Because we get paid, right? We're not going to talk about how much we get paid, but how has that changed over the years? What were your ideas on money when you were younger, when you first got into working for yourself, to now? Dang! I didn't think this question would be so deep.
I don't know.
Or is it the same? Are we still struggling? It is. It's crazy. It's crazy how like it's really your perspective on it. Like for me personally, I've been through the moments of where I was able to get a lot of money. But how I got it wasn't the most fulfilling and did not give me real joy. And so I've never been rich, I guess, in society. But there was a time where I was pretty comfortable with how much I was getting paid before, but it just wasn't fulfilling. And so I think now I don't see it as the number one priority. But in any case that I find myself comparing myself, or you look on social media and how people have been progressing, whether in their finances or whatever, it does cause you to feel like, oh, am I behind? Like, am I not doing something correct? But then you go back to the back and forth where it's like, well, I don't want to do what they're doing either. This is what I want to do, and we get paid differently, but I'm not going to let money or the income that I'm getting kind of decipher how I'm going to live my life. You'll never have enough. Even the richest people around will always say they don't have enough. So yeah, what are you guys?
I mean, yeah, I can piggyback off of that. Like, I mean, to give some background, like my family has always been, I guess, like in like the like working middle class. Like we've always been, as far as I know, like growing up, we've always been financially stable. So I've never felt like we struggled for money in any way. But of course, we're not rich. Like we live in a pretty humble home, I think. And when I started working, like it was just like nice to have my own money, but it wasn't like I wasn't focused on like I need to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, like of course I'm being paid more than when I first started working. It's still the same. Like I don't worry about, like on one end I don't worry about making enough money to provide for myself because my family is sort of stable in that sense. But I'm also not like trying to like make a ton of money to like be rich or like be successful
Mm-hmm.
or like, grow financially. And it's perfectly fine if that's something that you do. But for me, like the way that I see money is it's a means to an end. It's never the end goal. So like I know, like I of course, like one of my goals is to be a business owner, and of course I need to know a lot about how to handle my financial situation. But I feel like I didn't get to that point because I worried about or because I wanted to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
My passion for coffee came first, and that's like, and the connections that I made through that. So I want to focus my goals around like what I'm passionate about, and I'm not passionate about money. I'm passionate about people. I'm passionate about coffee. I'm passionate about making connections through each other's passions and stuff like that. So yeah, money is a means to an end.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But you guys,
Oh, I
You
can
have the
go.
mic.
Yeah. Wait, I'm thinking. I think at first when I started making my own money, I was surprised. Well, first, obviously we were surprised by the amount. Like, oh my god, I got money.
spend it right
Yeah,
away.
Oh my god. But then I think like, because I started like freshman year of college, I realized like, oh, like I can probably like pay off my classes now, like so my parents don't have to do it so much. Oh, I can like pay, like buy stuff for myself. And then I think while throughout the years, like going to different jobs, there's like a certain amount of hours that you have to like hit in order to get the amount that you want. Because then I guess like you realize like there's taxes, so there's like they take a percentage for
money?
so we're like, what is this? Why'd you take this much? I worked so hard. Oh my god. But luckily, like, I figured out how it works. So like now I can calculate like the percentage I should have, so they don't like take off too much or things like that. So I was able to control the amount that I want or that I deserved, and then like have like some like money to spend, especially now that I'm actually like getting paid for the stuff that I'm passionate about. It feels very rewarding. So it's like, okay, I can work like these hours and I can get this much, and then I can calculate in my head like, okay, I'm gonna have this at the end and I'm gonna save this much. So I guess now I feel more smarter with my money, so I can save more for like the future if ever I want to get like apartment, or if I'm saving up to like pay my credit card. I'm more smart about it. And then now there's like different ways that I can make money, like selling clothes or like helping with like other businesses. It's not too reliable on like one source of like
You have a little bit more freedom.
yeah, a little bit
that's
more
awesome.
freedom too.
Very
Okay.
good. Nice. I like the flexibility. Yeah.
I don't know what to start. Like the 18 years old immature me wanted the newest iPhone, the newest MacBook,
Let's go.
the newest everything to show off on Instagram. So I used to get as much shift in as possible, and I worship money. Like I worship it. It has to be money, money, money. Like everything is about money.
Money.
Money, money, money. And like I learned it the hard way. I learned that the hours I put in at work is the lesser hour I can put into my study and then finishing my degree. So that's why it's like took a long time also to I haven't graduated yet, sadly to say.
That's okay, girl.
I
That's okay, girl.
I never graduated.
Hey,
So.
I just graduated associates.
And it went on for like a couple years until recently I had like a full-time job, which I'm not happy at, but it was a good money. Like it's like good pay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was rich for a while, for a couple
While it
months.
lasted.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you were living with
Yeah.
me.
Like I sit down journal about it. I was like, I'm not happy, but I made good money. Is it like worth sacrificing my mental health like this?
Mm-hmm.
And then like I finally got the courage to quit that job on the spot. Like right now, even though I made not even half the amount, but I couldn't be happier.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I would choose happiness over money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Full agree.
Very good. It's a learning curve for
Yeah.
sure. And it
It
sucks
is.
because you won't realize that till you are physically tired.
Yeah.
Till like you have nothing left. Till you're burnt out, you know. But that's how we learn.
Yeah,
you know?
and you learn that you don't always need the newest iPhone. You don't
Yeah.
need newest iPad. You don't need anything.
For sure.
Like phone can be replaced 10 years from now. When it's broke down, you can get a new phone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like showing off on social media doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And your projection on life just changes.
Yeah.
And what you value the most, you learn that along the way. Like all of us seem to say that the most valuable thing is relationships with our coworkers, relationships with ourselves, with the customers that we have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those things last. Like those are the things that we really remember. It's crazy because we'll get a paycheck and we'll forget about it. You know what I mean? But we'll always remember that one customer, that one person who did the smallest gesture but made our day, you know, or us doing a small gesture and them, you know, expressing how much they appreciated. Yeah, that's what keeps us going. And yeah, and is there anyone else who wanted to share anything about that money?
Oh my God, I had a thought. I wanted to say that like I feel like talking about money, especially in like the society we live in now, it's so like hard to talk about it in a way that doesn't, at least like in our situations, like I often feel like I feel scared to come off as like spoiled. Like I know I'm not rich, like I'm not like spending money extravagantly on stuff, but I also am aware that like not everybody has the same opportunities as us, and like for whatever reason, like legitimate reasons, can't provide for themselves or for their families, which sucks. But to, I guess in my life, to sort of counteract that, not only do I try to like give back to communities monetarily, like I guess like one of my favorite love languages is like giving gifts. So like I like spending my money on other people. Like like I will admit that I spend a lot of money on myself too, like around like with coffee stuff. But like recently, I've been learning how to like give like gifts for other people, whether that's like treating them to lunch or just like finding like really unique thing, like like this season for Christmas, I bought like almost all of my coworkers like a gift that like has some sort of meaning for them, and it's become a lot easier for me now that I have had more money like accessible to me. But I just feel like it just feels right to me that like I'm not just using it for my own gains. I'd rather like share with other people. So that you know, yeah, like it's not just for me, it's it's meant to be shared.
Absolutely. The moment that we were able to give, like that's more fulfilling than us receiving. It's more blessed to be able to give than to receive all the time, you know.
This is where you plug your donation link.
How did you know? I'm just kidding. I will do that. Definitely will do that. After hearing all of our dreams, all your money goes towards our dreams. Yeah. But that's great, guys. Just to wrap up, I guess one quick thing, if everyone can share. You could take it however, but lessons you learned. Just say a lesson if you could think of one. A lesson that you learned, or you can say it in a way like, you know, I wish I had told my younger self this. So kind of in that way, what would that be? When it came to career and jobs. Nothing. We learned nothing.
Can you repeat the question in another way?
Um,
I'm sure there's something. I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
sure,
right now.
I'll try to go first, and maybe I'll find it along the way. But I think, and kind of already spoke upon it, but oh yeah, one thing is don't think that your job is the only thing happening in your life or the only important thing. I think what I really liked about what Mary said, and I'm so happy that she's found that she's at this point, but it's like flexibility. You know, you're not just your job, you're not just your career. A lot of people that I've run into spent, and that's not that this is wrong or anything, but dedicated so much time towards the career. But sometimes a mishap happens where you graduate and you don't get a job right away. And then they have nothing else. Like they have to find themselves again. They have to go to Hawaii to discover who they actually are. You know what I mean? Or, you know, wherever, and have a getaway trip. And again, not to guilt trip anyone, because I've gone through that in a way, many getaway trips. But I'm just saying that it's because I was so focused on where I put so much pressure on. Like I had to be here, and this can come from family expectations, this can come from societal expectations, sometimes the hard expectations you put on yourself. Not that that's bad, but we have to remember our identity should not just solely be on our career. And once you get that out of your mind, for instance, like I grew up focused on that I will be an artist. Like that is the ultimate goal. That's the only thing. But I had such a limited view on what that looks like and assumptions about it. I thought I had to produce art every single day to be an artist, you know, and do that. And once I couldn't get into art school, then I automatically thought that, oh, maybe I'm not cut out to be an artist. But later down the road, I found that being an artist is subjective, and there's so many things within that form, you know, you can be, whether a writer or this and then this and that. And so, yeah, I guess you don't find your whole identity in your career. There's so much about yourself and your life, and who you are as a person. If we're so focused on just that one thing, you know, you could have used that time to also discover what you're also into, different hobbies. Like as busy as we are and tired as we are, what keeps me going is finding random hobbies again, you know, and discovering, oh, I like this, even if it might not last, you know, for very long. At least I tried and made time for that, you know. So I think that's what it would be, to not limit yourself to just one thing. And keep in mind, like in our culture, that is not really talked about. Like we're always expected to have one thing and be set on that for the rest of your life, and to be so sure about it. And that's not reality, dude. It's not.
Yeah.
Again, there's structure's important, you know, preparing yourself, equipping yourself, taking on experiences. But yeah, I don't know. It's not fun. It's not fun to do just one thing.
Yeah, I can actually provide a little insight on the opposite of that, where
Sure.
for me, growing up, I was into like everything.
Yeah.
And like I had so many hobbies that like I couldn't decide what to do. Like what kind of, like, I didn't know what major to pursue when I was in college. Didn't even graduate college. Didn't know what to major in, didn't know where to work until I fell into coffee. But like yeah, I have a passion about coffee now in terms of my career. But, you know, looking back with all the hobbies that I've had in the past and still have, it really helps me just like provide balance for myself, where like if I get burnt out from like work or whatever, or like being around coffee for too much, which doesn't happen off very often, but I can always like go back and like continue exploring one of my other hobbies. Like I play a lot of guitar, or I do a lot of singing, or rock climbing is also another big hobby of mine. It's just I've always found it very useful to be curious and everything, or just like want to do whatever it is that's accessible to me. And because of that, like a lot of my connections nowadays have been because of coffee, but also because I have all these other like hobbies that I've had, just like sort of like sitting on the counter per se, also provide a new like avenue of connection with other people.
Yeah. And to add on that, like at the same time, I've met a lot of people, including myself, like who feel regret towards past jobs. But I always say, like, dude, that happened for a reason. You know, there's always going to be some type of skill, knowledge that you've gained from it. But then again, it depends on how you see it.
I think one of the most important lesson I learned is how to be humble and treat other people with respect. I don't know where to start. Like, I need to think about it. Mary Rose, you wanna go first?
I have to think about it too. I don't know. Like, can you repeat the question?
Lesson learned
Lesson learned.
from yeah.
Oh, like with money or just in general.
Just your job journey.
I think, I mean, for one, I kind of learned like how to spend it, how you want to spend it, either if you want to do it either the long term or short term, because you don't know if you'll have that money like in the future or anything. I mean, like money is money, but I guess it's the way that you spend it or the way that you handle it, it'll affect like your future. So I'm kind of glad that I've made like a system in my brain to like get me less stressed about what I want for the future and how I'm like doing it by like controlling the amount of money that I want to either save or spend, depending.
Becoming
on
a
what
little
it
bit
is.
more wise about decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can live a more, like, who doesn't want to live a stable life, you know?
Yeah.
You don't have to be the richest person, but just to feel safe and secure, of course, the goal. Yeah. Okay, what about you, Kels?
Last but not least.
Okay, do you want me to repeat that?
Yeah.
So one of the most important lesson I learned is how to be humbled and respect toward food service worker. Unfortunately, where I came from, people or well, everywhere I went, there's a lot of people who are self-entitled. They demand everything, and like not even a single thank you in return. And like that's just crazy how people act like that. Like you need to be humble. It's like, and also one of the sad thing is people like food service worker. I feel like in my country don't get a lot of like the niceness they deserve. Like we all work in restaurants. Like it get busy. The wait time might be a little bit long, and I'm totally fine with waiting because I've been there. I've been in their shoes because like they have to run around all the restaurant, try to bring food to every single table, try to make everybody happy. So, like a wait is nothing. So yeah, that's my lessons.
I can relate to that, especially having worked in customer service for so long. I've learned how to be more compassionate. Not only like if I go to a place as a customer, like I have a lot more sympathy for like anyone who's working behind like behind the bar, behind the counter, or whatever. But then even as like a barista serving customers, I have compassion for our guests, our customers. Like I try not to judge like where they're coming from. I just like, you know, welcome them in as they are, whether they're nice, whether they're disrespectful or like however, like I know everyone like has something going on in their life, and like kind of like what I said earlier, like I'm just there to like try to make their day or like just try to, you know, give them what they need and then some.
Absolutely, yeah. And working in love, that definitely is important. And I also wanted to do this topic because like I'm sure there are people out there who just are tired of their job, who feel as if it's repetitive, or feel stuck. And not to tell you to stay there or not to stay there. I think it's all in a matter of taking a time to think about where you are and the jobs that you're in, the things that you're spending your time and energy in, and making mindful decisions when it comes to our future and where we are now. Like Kelsey mentioned her mental health and keeping in check with that, you know. because our time does go towards a lot of the things we do at work. But I always feel like for me, like there will always be work gossip, right? There will always be something going on. Things spread quickly, and for me, I've learned to keep boundaries, and try my best not to include. I know it feels better when or it feels good when we're like in the conversation, but like most of the time, it's none of my business, right? And sometimes you can allow things to really damage your day, like whether it be, something going on, a rumor. But if it doesn't help me, just setting boundaries. Like I told someone, like someone was trying to I don't know, tell me a rumor that has nothing to do with me. And I was just like kindly, I was like, thanks for letting me know, but I don't think I had to know that. And sometimes that definitely helps your job environment too, because some people are not willing to stand up, and say things like that, because you also want other people to not have, I think we've all been in an experience where the work environment was toxic or you didn't feel at ease, and so I think that's also a hard thing, but and also a rewarding thing to be able to set boundaries in the job, and just to make sure at the end of the day, everyone comes to work, feels respected, feels heard. That's all that everyone really desires, right? But sometimes it's a matter of those individual people who are actually willing to create space for that and opportunities for people to have that. I think it's definitely possible. But at the end of the day, it's just depends on the people. Right. But all we can do is we can't change how people react. I've always trying to tell myself that and remind myself that I can't change how people react. The only thing we can change is how we see things, how we perceive things, how we react. And so, yeah, hopefully that you guys enjoyed this podcast. I definitely did. Hopefully with you guys who joined here, kind of gave you a good refresher and reset into us going back to work tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Pauline, can I actually add something?
Sure.
I just think of something.
Yeah.
And I think that through being in food service, it's really build your character value.
Mm-hmm.
You learn something about yourself through every single job.
Go ahead, guys.
You you made mistakes, you learn your weaknesses, and you fix yourself, and you became a much better version of yourself.
Yes.
And yeah, I have so much on my mind.
Now it comes into the end. No, go ahead, guys.
Yeah, and the fact that you learn something new about yourself every job, it just when you sit down and think back about it, I was I can't believe I used to be that person. I can't believe I used to be so impatient. I can't believe I used to be so self-entitled.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I told you this before, but if I have kids one day, I want their first job is to be in food service.
Yeah,
because you learn so much.
You do.
The little craft, the little skills, little bit of knickknacks, everything. I feel like most of the things I know how to do right now is from my jobs, my previous job, my right now jobs. Yeah. And I, how sometimes a small latte art can make some people's day.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so pretty. And the fact that you create that happiness for them, that seeing them happy makes my day.
Right.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite part of my job right now too.
It's one of the least joys
that
you get to experience every day. But I kind of wanted to piggyback on what off you said. So one of the things that I joke with some of my coworkers now is I kind of wish that it was some sort of government requirement to enter the workforce. You have to work at least you have to work at least 1 year or maybe 2 years in customer service.
Oh my gosh,
I feel like if you've worked in customer service for at least 1 or 2 years, you know what goes down. And you just know you have so much more respect for people who always work in customer service and that choose to do that. Not only are they doing it not only does it if some people are in a situation where it's the only job available to them, the the BS that they might be going through. But then there's also like the people that have a passion for it and choose to do it. You have like you have so much more respect for them after going through like working in that kind of environment. And yeah, like what Kelsey was saying, like you learn more about yourself and the way that you're able to treat others. And hopefully, like my hope would be under good ownership or management, like they help cultivate better, like just learn how to be more respectful and empathetic to other people. And it sort of just builds your character off of that sort of work environment, because it's in the name, it's customer service. It's not about you, it's about them. And it's like trying to provide something for them through your job, through your passions, through your talents and skills.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, such a good episode. Thank you guys for being here. Kelsey, Miko, Mary, of course. It's so fun being able to share insights with one another, tell each other stories, because it's not all about us. We grow through the people that we interact with, even at our job place, and in the respective communities and families that we're in. So if this encouraged you, please let us know. Let us know your stories, your experiences in customer service or clientele. Please let us know. We'd love to hear more about that. Like Miko mentioned before, if you have gained value from Pause Sip and Ponder and would like to see more content and in-person events if you're in the DMV area, our mission is to provide safe places for young adults, as well as creative opportunities and empowerment. So we have a lot we want to do in 2024, and 2023 has been such a ride in just the short amount of time. It hasn't even been a year, but it's good timing, because as we talk about jobs and careers and finances, which is a big part of our young adult life. One of my biggest goals is to provide opportunities for financial literacy for Pause Sip and Ponder. Our audio's not working anymore, but we'll say, don't forget, guys, to always love and always... Oh my gosh. Oh! I forgot. Don't forget to always love, to always be curious, and to always ponder. Bye!